Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my NHL 20 franchise mode here in the state of hockey. In the previous episode, we finished up the entire 2023-2024 regular season, and you know what? We overcame a lot of injuries in the month of February leading up to the trade deadline. Had to make a big-ish trade, bringing in a centerman because Evgeny Malkin is out with an MCL injury until the majority of the playoffs. Now, right there, we're 61, 19, and 2, 7, 3, and 0 in our last 10. Personally, this team feels a whole lot different than years past. Last year, where we lost to San Jose, the year before, where we lost to Colorado in the first round. This team clicked a whole lot more. We were a lot more consistent. We'd lose a game in regulation. We'd pick up 3 straight. Or we'd pick up 4. I believe we went on a 13-game win streak around right there. So 1, 2, 3, no, wait, somewhere around here. We won a lot. Yeah, it's right around there. We won 13 games in a row. That was a big reason we hit 61 wins. I believe we are first place in the NHL. Let me go check that out. We clinch first in the Central, probably first in the West as well, and we are the President's Trophy winners in 2024, Minnesota's first ever President's Trophy. I mean, hell, we had 4.33 goals per game, which is fantastic. At 294 goals against, which is high. But honestly, the way goaltending started out this season, they leveled off pretty well. I mean, our power play was 36%. Our penalty kill was 80%, which is middle of the pack. But we were great at home and away. We were really, really good. All season long, a lot of players came in clutch when we needed them. Obviously, Anthony Francis is the man. Last episode, I did not go into the stats because it was a really long episode, so I left it for today's episode, the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. But before we can even get to that, we must check the end of season stats. Anthony Francis, 59 goals, 120 points, one point better than he had last year, which is kind of funny. Exact same assists, just one more goal, less game winners. Not as good on the power play either. Played two less minutes of ice time. I'm honestly not sure why, but we did leave him off the power play for a bit there. Or not. We didn't play him on both power play units, but here he is, 120 points, 239 career points in 164 games. I swear to God, he's coming for Wayne Gretzky's record. We're going to need him to be good for a postseason run. And our newest captain, Kirill Kaprizov, Captain Cap, 93 overall. This is the last year of growth for him. 90 points, which is his third best season. Hold on. Yep. I mean, he had 98 last year. We didn't depend on him as much this year. He played a great role. He was important, especially going into the playoffs. We're going to need him at his best. He's a goal scorer. He was great in the playoffs last year. 6 points, 3 goals. We need him to be the best. He scored less goals this year, but you know what? He passed the puck around this year. 55 assists. I mean, Pietrangelo had 40 goals, so his goal totals actually went down as well. He hasn't scored less than 50 in a regular season except this year. I mean, 3 straight 40-plus goal seasons is phenomenal. He did have 86 points this season, which is his second best season. 103 is going to be hard to beat, especially for a power forward, but he was important. 11 game-winning goals. That has to be the most in the NHL this year. The top line was fantastic, but last year we had some problems with them in the playoffs. They weren't as effective as I thought they were going to be, and that's why we went out and acquired David Pastrnak. Pastable, whatever you want to call him. Absolute beauty. He hit 30 goals, which was surprising. Most of the season, he was averaging around 25 goals, maybe hit 40. Or maybe hit 30, sorry. He was never going to be that 40-goal guy, especially with Pietrangelo, Anthony Francis, Kirill Kaprizov, and Evgeny Malkin. But 33 goals, 82 points. He was sitting around the 70-point mark or 70-point pace throughout the most of the regular season. Hitting 82, especially coming off of a rough season last year with Boston. Fantastic season, and that's exactly why we went out and acquired him. 9 game-winning goals. He was clutch for us. He scored goals when it mattered the most. And you know what? Nils Hoglander, a young guy, 23 years of age. He's up to an 89. We said, you know what? Can he stay at a 65-point pace? He did. He actually played... he missed 4 games this season, so honestly, he's gotten better every year. First year he had 45 points in 82 games. The year after he had 65 and 80, and this year he had 65 and 78. So he's getting better. He scored less goals this year, but he was an all-around better player, better defensively. He was really good on the power play, and that's exactly what we're going to need. And the biggest injury of the season came right before the trade deadline. I believe like a game or two before the trade deadline. Evgeny Malkin went out right at the end of February, and that forced us to make a trade. I was looking at potential trades right up until the trade deadline. I looked at potential centers. First, I was going to go after Eric Stahl, but the cap forced us to go and get a younger, cheaper centerman. We didn't have a lot of money to spend in free agency, or not in free agency, the trade deadline. Why, Owen? The regular season, why would it be free agency? Thank you. It does suck losing Evgeny Malkin, but if this team has the capability of going deep into the playoffs, which I think we do, we're unproven, but I think this team can. He's going to be back in May. I'm not sure when in May, but an MCL injury is going to keep him out the majority of the playoffs. Round 2, maybe most of 3, he will probably get him back before the Stanley Cup Finals, but in 59 games, he had 30 goals. Could you imagine the kind of season he would have had if he had just stayed healthy? You know, he got injured right before he got his MCL injury. He was out for close to a month. Then we lose him again once he gets back in the line, plays 1 game. He was healthy at the time. It's not like we were screwing it up on purpose. He just got hurt. He had 58 points as a 37-year-old, and I'm not sure where he fits in the lineup next year if we decide to bring him back, but he was important for the games that we had him. And then Kel Newmanen, the rookie, 20 years of age. He's up to an 85 overall. He's probably going to be taking a spot in that top 6 come next season. And he hit 31 goals. I was asking, 25. He was on pace for around 25 all season. He especially the 13-game win streak helped. But 48 points, doesn't look like he's going to be an assist guy, but especially when he gets into a bigger role, more power play time, he's going to score goals. 31 goals. He looks kind of like not Artemi Panarin. Why am I thinking of Artemi Panarin? That doesn't make any sense. Why am I thinking... I'm not even going to edit this out because I hate sitting down for an hour and a half listening to my own voice. Isn't that ironic, right? No. Kel Newmanen is going to be the replacement for David Pastrnak in a year. Or maybe 2. Depending on how the top 6 shapes up, Kel Newmanen is going to replace somebody. A 31-goal rookie campaign. Not the best rookie season I've ever seen, especially when we have Kirill Kaprizov put up 73 goals in his rookie campaign. 31 is nothing to scoff at. I really, really like him. He had 4 game winners. Apparently he didn't play on the power play. I thought I did, but could you imagine? He's playing 11 minutes right now and he put up 30 goals. He's going to be an important player for the future. And the guy that we went out and acquired before the trade deadline was Henrik Borgstrom. You can say maybe I overreacted. We could have played so-and-so in the top 6, but especially if we're going into a playoff bout with a strong team. I mean, most of the teams in the playoffs are strong, but especially on the center spectrum. Henrik Borgstrom, there were a few centermen out there I would have rather acquired, like Eric Stahl, but we didn't have the money. He's only making $2.1 million, which we could fit under the cap. I needed a player like that. He's a two-way forward. he's not going to put up a lot of points, but we needed somebody there in the top 6 or the second line to play those minutes. Now, he came over to Minnesota. He only put up 8 points in 22 games. It's rough, but I think it's beneficial for us all around because Lucas Raymond, we're going to get to that. I think he's gone in the offseason, but it's the playoffs right now. You can change your fate here in Minnesota if you just play well and you're a good, solid player for us now. Henrik Borgstrom, is a two-way forward. I think he's going to be nice for us in the postseason. And then another rookie in Luis Langleiter. 19 years of age. He put up 19 goals. Too bad he didn't hit 20. 37 points as a power forward in your rookie season is pretty solid, especially where we drafted him last year. 20th overall in the first round. I did not expect how he was going to be this good for us. He's going to be an important third liner for years to come. I really, really like him. Luke Kunin, who played a fourth line sheltered role the majority of the season. I ended up moving him higher up in the lineup because of injuries. February was a terrible month for us. We could not get through February without an injury. It was really, really rough. We lost a lot of players. But especially going to the playoffs, he's going to have to be a shutdown guy. He was really good defensively, and we're going to need that. Now, we'll talk about Lucas Raymond. I got to go on a rant about that. Jason Zucker, 32 years of age, 26 points on the fourth line. He's also going to be important. Everybody needs to step their game up. Ryan Hartman, he was a plus player, and he had 21 points. Hell yeah. Fitzgerald came in for 15 games, had 7 points. Hell yes. One player that I can't find one positive thing about is Lucas Raymond. The only positive is his trade value is phenomenal. As a medium elite, that's going to be nice for us. He did have 4 game winners. You can say that. He was important in some aspect. But he has made no progression. You could say, yeah, this is his best season so far because he missed 3 games, right? The most points he ever had was 30. Yeah, he was on pace for a better season than 30 points. You can say that, but I'm done with excuses for this player. As a medium elite, as a top prospect in the 2020 NHL draft, you need to be better than this. If I have the trade in front of me in the offseason, I'm making it. There's no excuses anymore, Lucas. You be good in the playoffs, or we're going to make it hard for me to trade you. Make it hard for me to make a decision on trading you. Okay, and that is my rant about Lucas Raymond. Defense, which honestly is always a positive. Quinn freaking Hughes. 86 points, 3 goals. Doesn't feel like scoring at all. Shot 2.2%. Had 23 power play points. But see, he only scored 3 goals. 2 of those were game winners. Goddamn beauty. 86 points. He's getting a Norris this year. I have a feeling he's taking home some hardware this year. Brandt Clark stepped it up. 72 points in his, I believe this is his 3rd NHL season. Last year he had 32. As a sophomore, that's damn good. He's getting better every year. We didn't play him in the top 2 until the end of the season, if I'm not mistaken. He had 17 goals. He had his best output. He was on the power play this year, which I think helped him out. He was so good for us, and he is a franchise defenseman if I've ever seen one. 5th overall. I mean, IRL, he's contending for that 1st overall pick in 2021 as it is. So to get him at 5th, Detroit screwed up, did not pick him. They picked, I want to say Ado Iguchi. Brandt Clark is an important player for this team. Speaking of important players, Marcus Mironov, 90 overall officially, 4th overall pick in 2020, our first pick as a general manager of the Minnesota Wild. Had his 2nd best season last year, 46 as an offensive defenseman. That's really good, especially as a young guy. I don't expect you to be putting up consistent defensive numbers until you're a bit older. You rarely see that in young defensemen, except outliers like Quinn Hughes or Cale Makar or Ekblad or those sort of guys. But having 4 40-plus point seasons in a row, 2 of them being, or three 40-point seasons in a row, 2 of them being 50 points. You are such an impressive defenseman. 15 power play points, 1-game winner. Guy can shoot the puck whenever he feels like it. I really, really like Mironov. And especially getting him on a fantastic contract to, I believe, when we started the season. And Brandt Clark. I think we got Brandt Clark for $5.1 million over 8 years, which is going to be a steal. He'll be 28 at the end of that contract, 28, 29. Mironov will be around the same age. Fan-frickin-tastic work. On my end, I'm a great general manager, and I'm sorry, my house is making sounds, but I really don't feel like cutting this recording. Matthew Dumba. 29 years of age, 86 overall. 47 or 45 points as a defenseman is not bad. Especially dropping off last year at 37 points is not bad. But at some point, I have to think, okay? This guy, at the starting of my franchise mode, could have been the captain. But he was never as consistent as he's dropping off too quickly. And I'm not sure what that factors into being. If there's a trade in the offseason to be made. I do like having older defensemen in my lineup just to even things out. I don't want to trade him. We have him for a fantastic contract for the next 4 years. Right, so 45 points ain't bad, but how much does that play into having a 61-win season, right? So obviously guys are going to have great stats if you have 61 wins. That's just how analytics works. Okay, so big question mark for the offseason. I do like him. Don't get me wrong. Thomas Hickey, you know what? We signed him just to be that bottom six guy. 81 overall. He did dip off a bit, but 15 points as a two-way defender on the third pairing, plus 12. You had 40 penalty minutes, but you better you don't give me a reason to throw you into the sun. He wasn't bad. Okay, Ryan Sutter, I believe we sent down when we had to make the Eric Stahl trade that I tried to make, and we got Borgstrom. Borgstrom? I think it's Borgstrom. Oh my gosh. It was a rough end of the season, okay? But Sutter, we tried to waive. Nobody picked him up. I brought him back up just because he's a solid defenseman. As a defensive defenseman, he helps our lineup out in general. Hickett's played 18 games, was not a great defenseman, okay? Goaltending. You see their numbers. They're not good. They are not good in the slightest. 903 as a rookie, you can debate that. Ben Bishop won games. Ben Bishop went out there and won games. When we turned auto-rotate goalies back on, which I had accidentally kept off, Weeman started playing a whole lot of games. I like that I see a really even split. So I'm assuming Jaden Weeman would have gotten more start time if we had played him the first month, or 2 months, I believe. But they were both really good. Obviously, 61 wins on the regular season. They were both impressive in that end. 3 shutouts apiece. Weeman is the guy for the future. He's looking like you can look at his stats in the puck control area, and he's kind of iffy, but he's an 84 overall goaltender. He's high elite. He's only going to get better. Ben Bishop is kind of passing that torch. I'm not sure if I'm even going to keep him on for next season, especially with a guy like Hunter Jones in the AHL. You never know. Okay, but let's check out the entire league stats. Do we have anybody taking home some hardware? I believe, yeah, Carter Hart. It's Carter Hart's league, and you're just playing in it. He even had 2 points, which is just hilarious. I'm a huge fan of Carter Hart. He's absolutely stealing games for Philadelphia this year IRL. I mean, they're second in the Metropolitan Division, if I'm not mistaken. They're top 5 in the NHL. Carter Hart is a big reason, and he's a big reason for their success here in this franchise mode. He's taken home a few awards this season. And for rookie skaters, Jesper Straka, and I'm gonna break your heart right now. Jesper Straka is also going to win the Rocket Trophy with 62 goals. That's a few more than Anthony Francis. 102 points as a rookie. Fantastic season. It looks like our creative guys are having a big impact for the league. Playing on Winnipeg, I bet we'll play him in the future. Everberg, Slychuk, Volsnar, LaRoche, Auger, Horak, Woodworth, Corvo, Darling, they're all going to get better, which is just scary. Okay, and for defensemen, is he taking home? Come on. If you give it to Gostisbehere, we're going to have a problem. He's dominated. He's 14 points ahead of Gostisbehere. He does have a worse plus-minus, but Quinn Hughes has to take home that trophy. If he does not take home that trophy, I'm going to have a few words with Gostisbehere. Just a few, because I think it's Hughes' trophy. He's so far ahead in points. If Gostisbehere had 80 points, I would give it to Gostisbehere. But he's 14 points ahead of Gostisbehere. Erik Karlsson is out of the race just because he has a -7. And if you were going to give it to Gostisbehere, why wouldn't you give it to Brandt Clarke? They have the same point totals, and Clarke has a better plus-minus. So you have two potential Norris Trophy winners on the Minnesota Wild. I really, really like our defensive core, and they proved that this year, especially our big guys. And for the Art Ross, you know Connor McDavid led the league the last time we checked. But your Art Ross winner, 2 years straight, Anthony Francis. 120 points. He's only going to get better. I mean, how do you get better from a 99, Owen? We're going to gel more. Our other guys are going to get better around him, and we're just going to produce even more. First overall pick in 2022. Absolute beauty. I mean, I could debate changing him to a sniper, potentially, if I want to see him go out there and break a few records. But 120 points, 2 straight 100-point seasons to start your career is very impressive. Connor McDavid led the league. He was 10 points ahead of Francis, but I guess that 13-game win streak definitely helped us in that category. So, McDavid, sorry you couldn't win the trophy. You're a beauty, but you couldn't beat the man, Anthony Francis. And obviously, the most goals in the league goes to Jesper Straka. I mean, 2 straight 55-plus goal seasons for Anthony Francis. I'm sure he'll be a 70-goal guy in the future. Absolute beauty. And for most assists, you're going to have to give it to your boy, Kyle Connor, 1 ahead of Quinn Hughes, and that's very, very impressive as a defenseman. I mean, there's a lot of positives on this team. There's obviously a few cases on the Minnesota Wild that you could just throw into the sun, Lucas Raymond being one of them, but obviously we're going to find a trade for him later. But it is time for the 2024 postseason. Okay, this year we are playing the LA Kings in our last game of the regular season. We beat them 4-1. If that's an outlier of the way we're going to play them, I'm hoping it shows the future for us. They're 36-6. They kind of just edged, or just kind of like fell into the postseason because teams behind them didn't play hard enough. They're not a good team. The record. I haven't checked their team, but we will do that right now. And I'm going to say this right now, there are no excuses. This year, you need to make it out of the second round, okay? You need to play like your lives depend on it, and... Okay. Anze Kopitar and Danault were on the block the majority of the season. I saw LA being a team that would probably fall into the lottery. If you were willing to trade 2 of your top centermen in Kopitar and Danault, you're obviously not trying to contend, but they have Taylor Hall. When the hell did they get Taylor Hall? Did they got him during free agency? He's been a solid player for them. Obviously, he got hurt that year, but he has been very, very solid for the LA Kings. Then you got Dominic Kahn, who came over a few years ago in a weird trade. I always thought LA won that trade, but he's also a really solid player. And obviously, 2-time Stanley Cup champion in Anze Kopitar, former runner-up to the MVP Hart Trophy. 71 points. Obviously, this is a good first line, but something very, very interesting. You have Philip Danault. You have Alexander Holtz, who was the other guy that we could have picked over Lucas Raymond. Now I'm kind of regretting it, but obviously just different situations there in LA. And then you have Connor Von Sieg, the first subscriber-created player that I've seen in the postseason so far. He is going to be a menace because created players always shoot the puck more, and they score more goals. How did he do in his rookie season? 77 points as a rookie. No, he was a rookie last year. Never mind. He only played 36 games last year, had a 20-goal campaign. This year he had almost 40. Great year for him. He's definitely their future alongside Holtz. Two very, very young players. A really awesome top six. I get it. Arthur Kaliev, really underrated player, I believe. Before I started recording this episode, I believe he became first all-time in points for the, I want to say, Hamilton Bulldogs. I think I'm right. Maybe. Hamilton, or what's the other team? Kingston Frontenacs? No, it's Hamilton. Why didn't I just look at the script? Oh my god, you're so stupid, Owen. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so stupid. Sorry. No, I really like Kaliev. I think he was an underrated pick in that draft. Second round, I thought he could have easily gone first. Or in the first round. Sorry, I just looked at their fourth line. I mean, we can get over Gabe Vilardi and Grundstrom. And Kempney. And Thomas. Why in the blue hell is Shane Wright on your fourth line, LA? They are not using him right. They're not using him right. See what I just did right there? Why is he on your fourth line, LA? What are you doing? The hell is that? He should be your first line centerman right now. Get Gonze Kopitar out of there. He put up 20 points in 41 games this year. I'm assuming he got injured a bit. Jesus, that's a fantastic forward core. I don't see any problems except for that. He should be way higher in that lineup. You can throw Gabe Vilardi in the sun. You can throw Kopitar into the sun. You need Shane Wright in your top six. You need him to be your first line guy, especially with Hall. My God, that would be a pairing and a half. Yeah, that's my only gripe with this team so far. Let's check out their defense. Bjornfoot, Drew Doughty, who is 34. You can say what you want about Drew Doughty. He's got 2 Stanley Cups. It's the NHL is sort of what have you done for me lately? Lately, IRL, he's not been the best defenseman. He is playing on a terrible, terrible Western Conference worst LA Kings. But I think he's a solid defenseman. Obviously, the money he's being paid is ridiculous, but we can talk about that in a different discussion. Oliver Kylington, Sean Dursey, Alec Martinez, and Harper. So they get weak after their top pairing. Bjornfoot, who's young, Doughty, who's an older player, but that's a good pairing. After that, they're not the best. But it always comes down to goaltending. Ooh, Philip Grubauer. It doesn't matter what overall goalie you have in the net in the playoffs, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of goalie they are, because they can steal you a series, especially if they're an 82 overall Martin Jones. But I digress. Oh, Jake Allen. Sick, that's an 82 overall guy. Ugh, I don't like that. Did he play for San Jose last year? I want to say he did. No, he didn't. I thought I was having flashbacks. When I see an 82 overall goalie, I kind of freak out. That's a good tandem. Any scratch players? Nino Niederreiter, the most buttery league in the name. Or the most buttery league in the name? Most buttery name in the league. Wow, I suck at this. Alex Turcotte. LA, do you have some problems? He had 8 points in 7 games. And he's scratched as a 23-year-old. You should be playing the hell out of this guy. And what the hell are you doing, LA? What is your problem? Why is he not in your lineup? Ivan Yakupov, that just adds a whole nother dimension to your team. No, why the hell did they only have 40 wins? They're a scary team. Excluding their defense, they have an offensive powerhouse. They do. That is a scary, scary team. But we're already 30 minutes into this episode. I'm sure you want to see how the first round goes. There is no excuse. We have home ice. Let's start this thing off right. First period. 1-0. Alexei Petrangelov gets on the board, but apparently the second period started. And it's 2-0. Let's simulate. Oh my god. It's 4-0 after 40 minutes, and apparently I started simulating the second period, but I'm glad it's 4-0 us. So the captain gets on the board. Kirill Kaprizov is an absolute beauty. Hoglander gets a goal as a playmaker, and David Pasternak doing exactly what we need him to do. Shots are in our favor, 29-18. Let's close this one out on home ice. Don't give them anything. They have weapons. Don't even give them a chance. Von Sieg scores his first of the postseason here on Weeman. So Weeman is actually the starter right now. We can roll with either Ben Bishop or Weeman, but if one is more impressive than the other, obviously we're going to go with the hottest goalie. But it looks like Drew Doughty scores. Close this one out, please. Oh my god. That was way closer than it needed to be, Weeman. I'm glad our offense came out big that game. Pasternak with the first star. I would have honestly given it to Fedor Gordeev. I'm so glad that's not an NHL player. Fedor Gordeev forever. Okay, so it's 1-0 in the series. Do we go with Ben Bishop? Honestly, that is a good question. Now, I'm going to wait until I see Weeman falter because that was a terrible third period. But we worked. We won the game. We'll go until he loses. Hopefully that isn't anytime soon. First period. 0-0. Shots are in LA's favor. 11-9. Strong period from both back ends. Second period. 1-1. Lucas Raymond on the board. It's 1 goal in 2 games. Okay, make it hard for me to trade you. Taylor Hall ties things up late into the second period. Shots are in their favor, 24-17. Third period is underway. Can we get a goal? Can we get 2? Can we get 3? Matthew Dumba, veteran defenseman, 29 years of age, gets on the board. It's 2-1 Minnesota in the third period. Can we hunker down for 10 more minutes? Power play for LA. We kill it off. That is big, especially with all their weapons. Arthur Kaliev gave him too much credit talking about him. It's 2-2. Heading into overtime. The first overtime of the playoffs for us. But you know the rules. We will not be intervening until it's an elimination game or the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't like this. Can we make it 2-0 in the series? Can we get 1? All we need is 1, Minnesota. Literally anybody. Look at the skaters you have on your team. And Arthur Kaliev scores his second. He scores the equalizer and the neutralizer. I don't like to see that. That was a rough game. It was a rough game from the back end. Could have been worse. Our offense needs to come in way bigger this game. We're at Staples Centers. It's 1-1. We have no excuses. We must make it out of the first round or there's going to be some definite changes on this team. I'm sorry. That is just a fact. There is nothing more I can do to put this team in a position to succeed. You can look at LA, yeah. The record's terrible. They were the worst team coming into the playoffs. Okay? They have weapons. I understand that. But you are the better team. You're a well-oiled machine. Head here into the Staples Centers. LA's eliminated President's Trophy winners before. First period. 1-1. Taylor Hall scores his second in Game 3. Kirill Kaprizov ties it very, very late. 1:08 left in the first. They're doubling us up in shots. I don't like this. Second period. 3-2. Shane Wright on the power play, so they're giving him some power play time. Making it 2-1 LA, but the big guns come in clutch. Alexei Petrangelo scores, and Kaprizov gets on the board. The captain gets on the board. Third period. Shut it down, Minnesota. You didn't do that last game. You barely did it the first game. Please just shut it down. 10 minutes. God damn it. Really? Oh, and they score again. Langweeder, you beauty. Thank you. Oh, my God. Jesus, that was a terrible moment right there. Borgstrom, deadline acquisition. Is that enough? Just hold on 3 minutes, goddammit. Cale Newmanen on Philip Grubauer. Kunin with the empty netter. What kind of third period was that? We go down by a goal. We score 4 straight. That is how you close things out. Kaprizov with the first star, 3 points. Clark with 4. Impressive game from him. No, can we not do that again? Brant Clark is actually leading us in points. Fedor Gordeev is back. Hell yeah. What an absolute beauty. They're actually in the postseason this year, which is huge. The Iowa Wild I'm talking about. I want to check something real quick for us. Francis only has 2 points in 3 games. As a 99 overall. As a 99 overall. Part of me wants to change this guy to a sniper, so he needs to step it up. Yeah, no, he needs to... I mean, Clark has been a beauty. 6 points in 3 games. I mean, I know most of them came in last game, but impressive nonetheless, especially as a defenseman. Here we go. Game number... I want to say this is game numero 4. If I'm not mistaken. 2-1 in the series. We have a chance to take a stranglehold on their home ice. Can we get it done? First period. 1-0. Kirill Kaprizov, beauty. I think he scored every game this postseason, just like he did last year. Now, here's the thing, Minnesota. You've been in this position before. I believe the last 2 postseasons, you took one on home ice, you lost the other one. You took one on their home ice, you lost the other one. And then it was a best of 3. We can't be doing that. We need to end this series quickly, because if it goes deep, I don't like our odds, because EA tends to not simulate in our favor, especially when it comes with the Minnesota Wild. Second period. Kaprizov with his second, and Langweeder, the hero in last game, makes it 3-0. They're leading in shots, but we have all 3 goals. Ow, I almost tore my shoulder out of the socket when I did the fist pump, but I will take that 3-0. Just shut it down. Power play for LA. Take the wind out of the air for the LA King fans. Shut them down on their home ice. 5 minutes, a quarter left. Borgstrom, 2 goals in 2 games. I will take it. Good deadline acquisition. I don't care what you say. 4-0. Shutout goes to Weeman. Great game. I don't want to say anything, but that was a big game on their home ice. 3-1 advantage, Minnesota. 5 goals for Kaprizov. He has scored a goal every game. Guy is an absolute stud. I'm asking for everybody to step up. Shut them down. I know we have 3 more opportunities to end this, but I want it done here on home ice. The XL Energy Center, the fans want it. The players want it. Management obviously wants it. First period. 2-1. Luke Kunin shorthanded, and that is the way to start off the game. Harton makes it 2-0. So the bottom 6 is getting it done. Luke Kunin, absolute beauty. Hartman, hey, shows up when we need him. Sean Dursey, the defenseman, makes it a 1-goal game. Under a minute left. We can't be letting up those. If we went into the second period with 2-goal advantage, we just stretch time, or we lessen the amount of time that we have to defend for. You know what I mean. Okay. They actually outshoot us. 14-9. Second period. Anthony Francis shows up in game number 5. 2 goals. 2 minutes apart. In the second period of play. I'm so sorry, Anthony Francis, you absolute beauty. We need him to show up when we need him to show up every night. Getting goals on the board is impressive. Okay, third period. You have 20 minutes to exit the first round for the first time in a few years. Anthony Francis completes the hat trick. Newmanen makes it 6-1, and you are dismantling the LA Kings. You show them why you're the President's Trophy winners in 2024. You show them why this is your year. 7-1. Jason Zucker with the final goal of the game. And we ended. Those 3 straight goals from Anthony Francis put the nail in the coffin of the LA Kings. With the first start making it... Oh, no! Oh, are you serious? No, that's not real. Oh, no! No! Oh, that sucks. Okay. With a broken nose? Players don't go out with a broken nose. So we lose him for the next round. I'm assuming the entire next round. Whatever. Oh, that sucks. I'll fix up the lineups, but that is not good. That is not good in the slightest. Losing a Norris Trophy winner, who's going to win the Norris Trophy. in the postseason, that is going to hurt us a lot. Now, we are done the first round, and we will be facing one of our longtime rivals. It's been a few years, but we will be facing the Chicago Blackhawks in round number 2, a 50-win team. Okay, and that is it for this one, guys. We have a lot to deal with next episode, but at least we made it out of the first round, and we beat the LA Kings. Thank God. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, leave a comment, share with people who you think may enjoy this sort of thing. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.